Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
Here at the News at Noon show, we assemble the best and most interesting news we can find from the area, and Jerry Tope brings you the local weather and related news. Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
We appreciate that you're watching DCTV. Today's show is live on Tuesday at noon and rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. and again re-aired on Friday at noon, 2:30 and 8. It's November 29th, 2016. Here's the News at Noon. Today is Giving Day, the Tuesday after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's a movement to take a moment to give to others in need. Hashtag Giving Tuesday is what's trending. The Durango Herald reports that there are 12 months in the year, but for many nonprofits focused on fundraising, the holiday months around Thanksgiving and Christmas are all important. This is the time when most people decide to open their pocketbooks in a show of generosity. Durango Food Bank raises 85 to 90% of its annual operating budget November through January, said Sarah Smith, director of the Food Bank. Food donations come in year-round, especially from grocery stores, but residents give the bulk of their food donations around the holidays. The Adaptive Sports Association receives more than 50% of its individual donations during November and December, said Anne Marie Megan, executive director. The fundraising frenzy coincides with the start of the agency's winter season, which helps put adaptive sports on the forefront of people's minds, she said. Nonprofits indicate why there is so much giving at this time of year is due to a couple of factors at play. For one, it's the holiday season, a time when residents are enjoying gifts, family, and big meals. They're also reflecting on what has given their lives meaning. In others, it bothers some to think less fortunate residents are unable to partake in some indulgences. It both makes people feel good to be a giver, as well as there being certain tax breaks for donations to official 501c3 groups, which is a win-win however you look at it. Financial donations are easy to deal with when they flood in, but food donations are a little more tricky. The food bank serves 100 households, and each family receives about 120 pounds of food per week, which is more than 500,000 pounds of food per year. Families come together around food this time of year, and they feel better emotionally when they can share the same joy with others. Nonprofits also count on donations this time of year to set budgets for next year. She said it's really critical that people know we rely on their donations, and this is the time where we're setting that budget and making sure we're operational for next year. We've put up on our Facebook page a list of nonprofits in the Dove Creek area if you want to give locally in Dolores County.
According to the Durango Herald, federal authorities charged a man on Monday with using an explosive device to damage an Old Navy store in Albuquerque, where a string of overnight fires and vandalism during the busiest shopping weekend of the year damaged Starbucks shops and Barnes & Noble and other establishments in New Mexico's largest city. Albuquerque police arrested David A. Hickman, 28, early Saturday morning after he drove away from the Albuquerque shopping center, where an officer who was on patrol said he had heard small explosions, according to a federal criminal complaint. Hickman was transferred to the custody of federal authorities who are investigating other local arson and vandalism cases since early Wednesday. Hickman has not been linked in federal documents to the other suspicious fires in Albuquerque, although Albuquerque Police Chief Gordon Eden had said during a news conference over the weekend that the spate of crimes targeting businesses would end with an arrest that came the day Hickman was taken into custody. Federal authorities, meanwhile, have not confirmed which, if any, of the cases are related. It was not known whether Hickman had obtained a lawyer Monday. A fire was set at a Barnes & Noble near a shopping mall the same night as the explosions at the Old Navy store, authorities said. There was water damage inside the book-selling retailer's Albuquerque location, while a tinge of smoke remained outside the Old Navy store. Several mornings earlier, a blaze set at Project Defending Life, an anti-abortion ministry, damaged the organization's chapel and foyer, while a massive blaze destroyed a luxury condo complex under construction near the University of New Mexico. The Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives sent its national response team to assist in investigating the condominium fire that resulted in an estimated $9 million in damage. On Friday morning, suspicious devices were left at 3 Albuquerque Starbucks coffee shops, with one device causing minimal damage. the FBI said. What the devices were is unclear. The fires that came in the days before and after Black Friday were a setback for Barnes & Noble and Old Navy especially. At Barnes & Noble, some booksellers were at the store Monday helping with cleanup, while others were working shifts at another store in Albuquerque. Company spokeswoman Mary Ellen Keating told the Associated Press. She said Barnes & Noble, which is the largest retail bookseller in the U.S., wouldn't lay off employees while it cleans a fire-damaged location during the holiday season, and no one is losing pay.
Reported in the Cortez Journal, Jill Seyfarth, a former planner with La Plata County and Durango, is joining the Region 9 Economic Development District as a part-time economic development planner. Through her business Cultural Resource Planning, Seyfarth has worked on community development-related projects for public and private sectors in southwestern Colorado. She recently completed 2 terms on the Colorado State Historic Preservation Board, which reviews nominations to the state and national registers of historic places, and she currently sits on the Technical Advisory Committee for the Colorado State Historic Fund. Laura Lewis Marchino, Executive Director of Region 9, said, "We think Jill will be able to walk in and get to work. She's already familiar with Region 9 and the CEDS process, and I'm thrilled to have someone of her experience." Seyfarth will manage projects, data reports, publications, including district's comprehensive economic development strategy, as well as grant applications. Seyfarth said, "I'm excited to be working on projects throughout the Region 9 area. Southwest Colorado is such a dynamic place, and there are so many opportunities here." Region 9 works to improve economic conditions in La Plata, Archuleta, Montezuma, Dolores, and San Juan counties. Seyfarth can be reached at jill@scan.org or by calling Region 9 at 247-9621.
According to the Cortez Journal, a caravan of more than 50 students, professors, and others set out Tuesday morning from Durango on a 16-plus hour drive to Standing Rock, South Dakota, to spend Thanksgiving break in solidarity with tribes across the nation protesting a controversial oil pipeline. "I just felt a calling to be up there," said Damon Young, a Fort Lewis College student from Taos Pueblo, New Mexico. "I'm looking forward to the spiritual connection more than anything, and to be able to bring back what I learned to my own people who are also facing water right battles." This summer, opposition mounted to a 1,170-mile pipeline that would transport 470,000 barrels of oil a day from the Bacon oil fields in North Dakota to other pipelines in Illinois known as the Dakota Access Pipeline. The pipeline would come within a half-mile of actual reservation land, and tribal members say it would traverse ancestral land, including burial grounds, and be built under the tribe's reservoir, which provides drinking water. Tribal members of Standing Rock, the country's 6th largest reservation, which straddles the border of the Dakotas, also argue they were not properly consulted in the pipeline's planning process. While protests have remained relatively peaceful in the past few days, protesters who prefer to be called water protectors have clashed with police. On Sunday, law enforcement officers used rubber bullets, tear gas, and water from a fire hose on demonstrators who police said were acting very aggressively. Anthony Nocella, assistant professor of sociology at Fort Lewis College, said the 14-car, 50-plus person trip out of Durango is one of the largest independently organized caravans from a university. He said students wanted to show solidarity with the tribes in Standing Rock in large part because the student enrollment at Fort Lewis College is about 36% Native American, representing hundreds of tribes across the country. "Our goal is to protect land and water globally and locally," Nocella said. Nocella said the attendees have taken a pledge to remain sober and nonviolent during the trip. Organizers also gathered food, clothing, and camping gear to donate to the demonstrators as the harsh South Dakota winter sets in. A GoFundMe campaign has raised just over $2,000 of its $3,500 goal. Nocella said students will arrive at a university close to the Standing Rock camp, and they then plan to participate in various activities until they head back to Durango on Sunday. He said he was unsure if the students from Fort Lewis College would enter the protest's front line.
The Cortez Journal reported on a trail plan delayed. A final decision on a much-anticipated management plan for recreation trails in the Rico West Dolores region of the San Juan National Forest has been delayed until spring, forest officials said. For the past year, public meetings have been held on how to best manage a network of motorized and non-motorized trails in the area. According to Dolores District Ranger Derek Padilla, a draft decision was expected in January, but the public comment period revealed the Forest Service did not specifically state in the plan that a decision will be also made on the forest minimum road system. He said from a procedural standpoint, someone could make the case that we never notified the public that a decision would be made on that. The minimum road system standard is described as the fewest number of roads the forest needs to manage the forest for all of the different purposes. The decision is a requirement of all travel management plans. Because of the omission of the San Juan National Forest, we'll issue a draft supplemental environmental impact statement in January with the missing information and initiate another 45-day public comment period. The target date for a final decision on the trail plan is now estimated for May 2017. The public has more opportunity to comment, and we can beef up the analysis a bit more, Padilla said. How to balance needs of single-track motorized uses with those of quiet users has been the main thrust of 5 plan alternatives proposed by the forest. The area includes the Rico Mountains, Lizard Head Pass, and popular trails such as Bear Creek, Calico, Taylor, and Stoner Mesas, Burnett Creek, Ryman Creek, and others used by hikers, motorcyclists, bikers, hunters, and equestrians. Single-track motorcycle users expressed frustration at proposals to close Calico, Bear Creek, Ryman Creek, Burnett Creek, the Winter Trail, and others to motorcycle use. Quiet users want less motorcycles access on trails to preserve their forest experience and reduce impacts on wildlife and hunting. To make your comments known or to find out more information about the alternative plans, visit fs.usda.gov or contact Debbie Kill at 882-6822 or dkill@fs.fed.us.
According to the Cortez Journal, a flap over electronic equipment owned by a former student at Dolores Schools was laid bare in an email chain distributed to parents last week. Last school year, the technically savvy student was tasked by school administrators to be the sound engineer for events and to help maintain the school's electronic message board. The student used his own sound equipment for events and his laptop computer for the message board. The student has since transferred to another school, but when he recently attempted to retrieve his laptop, he was initially rebuffed by Dolores school officials, he said. Then, while at a recent football game in Dolores, the student saw his amplifier and retrieved it. A school administrator suspected theft and contacted the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office. According to a sheriff deputy's report, an investigation revealed that the equipment and computer were indeed the student's. His property was returned and there were no charges. School officials, who have come to depend on some of the student's sound equipment, asked if they could purchase it at a cost of about $1,000, and the student agreed, his father told the Journal. It all worked out fine, but better communication by school administrators at the beginning would have been helpful, he said. Due to an apparent email glitch, the student began receiving batches of emails from the Dolores school on his old student account. He wrote an email critical of the school's handling of the situation, and it was sent out Sunday to the school's email tree. Upon retrieval of his laptop, according to the student's email, he claimed programs he owned had been removed from the computer. In an email sent to parents and teachers, Dolores School's Superintendent Scott Cooper said that he was researching the defamation statements in the student's emails and that the student's school email account has been disabled. Cooper also stated that the school was disabling the email accounts of all other former students. And now here's our weather report.
Yes, temperatures will stay at this level through the week, although the National Weather Service says that it has canceled winter weather advisories for northwest Colorado and upper Colorado River Valley, where snow has ended. Yet, snow will continue in those mountains of the northwest and central Colorado through the day, though not much is anticipated. They also say that for tonight there will likely be fog in those areas prone to it. Tomorrow promises a short weak wave, and yet another will arrive on Thursday just to keep it cold. That one arriving Thursday is still causing a disturbance in the prognostications. Will it split or will it not is the question, but the answer is that even if it does, it's not likely to bring much moisture to our corner. So, dry weather is expected through the weekend. A deep and complex storm system will impact much of the central and eastern U.S. over the next few days. Two strong areas of upper-level energy will circulate around the storm's center. The first is associated with the cold front advancing through the Tennessee Valley and the Appalachians and the Mid-Atlantic today and the lower Great Lakes and Northeast by Wednesday, which is producing numerous showers and thunderstorms over the lower Mississippi Valley, Tennessee Valley, and portions of the southern Appalachians. Conditions will continue to be favorable for strong to severe thunderstorms across the Gulf states. Heavy rain will be possible and may lead to flash flooding conditions in that region as well. Rain and freezing rain will develop over parts of the north this morning and will likely switch to snow over northern Maine this afternoon and continue into Wednesday morning. Snow will develop over parts of the northern plains through Wednesday as colder air streams in around the low pressure center. Rain will continue over parts of the northern plains and upper Mississippi Valley through tomorrow. The second area of upper level energy will move from the Great Basin to the southern plains and mid-Mississippi Valley by tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms will develop along and ahead of the front over the lower Mississippi Valley by this afternoon and will expand into the Tennessee and southern Ohio valleys by tomorrow. For the Pacific Northwest, a front will move inland and spread rain and mountain snow through Washington, Oregon, and Northern California tonight and into tomorrow. Then spread east through the Intermountain West on middle of the day tomorrow and into Thursday. The mid-30s for highs through Saturday and a slightly warmer lower 40s for Sunday, with clouds continuing to pass through and mix with sun for Wednesday and Thursday and more clouds for Friday. Lows in the single digits today and tomorrow, then into the teens through Sunday night. The current wind will very slowly taper down today and all through the night, and tomorrow at around 10 a.m. should be almost still and stay low through Thursday night. Now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, Colorado Parks and Wildlife officials are reminding drivers that with dusk arriving earlier as a result of the time change, the chances increase for collisions with wildlife on the roads. The changing season coincides with peak mating time for much of Colorado wildlife, particularly deer, said Jason Deutsch, CPW District Wildlife Manager. Visibility is poor when many of our big game animals are most active. Right now, deer, moose, elk, and other wildlife are more mobile, easily distracted, and more likely to be crossing roads and highways. When drivers do see wildlife on or near the road, the best response is to slow down or stop, honk, and flash headlights. This not only warns the animal to avoid the road, it helps point out the danger to other motorists. The average property damage cost of animal vehicle collisions is estimated at $3,103, according to the Colorado Department of Transportation. Drivers can reduce the likelihood of an accident by taking the following precautions. Slow down. Swerving at high speeds increases the danger of an accident. Moderate speeds increase reaction time and allows drivers to react appropriately to animals in the road. Stay alert. This is particularly while driving at dusk and dawn. This is when deer and other common wildlife are most active. Scan ahead. Watch for movement along roadsides. If you see one animal, expect it to be accompanied by others. Obey traffic signs. In addition, watch for wildlife warning signs. Transportation authorities often attempt to reduce the number of incidents by lowering nighttime speeds in areas where collisions are common. For more information on avoiding wildlife collisions, visit the CPW website.
Last week's CO2 levels stand at 403.98. Week before last read 403.74. 1 year ago was 400.30. 10 years back it was at 380.71. Now here's a bit about MRSA, your nose, and oxygen. Drat that oxygen. Seems like we need it, don't we? The interior of the nose is a prime dwelling place for some forms of staph. More than 1/3 of the population has a chronic presence of Staphylococcus aureus in their nostrils and sinuses. From there, it can get onto your hands and other skin areas. Drat it, you're just bugged every time somebody sneezes now, aren't you? Look, like many bacteria, Staphylococcus aureus makes the enzyme nitric oxide synthase. In other living things that manufacture that oxide, the simple molecule controls many complex biological responses. In people, for example, it mediates blood pressure, nerve signals, and sexual arousal. Much is known about nitric oxide in human physiology, noted Dr. Ferric Fang, professor of laboratory medicine and microbiology at the University of Washington School of Medicine. The University of Washington medicine researcher added that the effects of nitric oxide production in bacteria have been much less than clear, but studies continue. Most recent findings on the essential role of the enzyme nitric oxide synthase in successful colonization by Staphylococcus aureus are reported November 28 in the Nature Microbiology magazine. And report, if the bacteria pack densely into a confined location, eventually most of the available oxygen will be consumed. So maybe you'll have to breathe through your mouth. This situation can arise when staph tries to take hold and multiply in the nose. Mucus in the nose also limits the diffusion of oxygen. So is it allergies? Is it hay fever? Or is it the little bugs? As oxygen becomes scarce, Kinkle, one of the researchers, said the small amount of nitric oxide produced by the bacteria further restricts aerobic respiration in an effort to reduce oxygen use. So you are oxygen deprived. This leads to the bacteria transitioning to nitrate consumption or microaerobic respiration to maintain energy in the low oxygen environment. So there went your hopes that MRSA might boost your sex drive. Also, the researchers said, in view of the many pathogenic and environmental bacteria that produce the enzyme nitric oxide synthase and large numbers of low oxygen environments in the natural world, this mechanism is likely to be a widespread bacterial response to limited oxygen. So we still need more of that stuff. Curious, isn't it? The mechanism may contribute to the virulence and staying power of the disease-inducing Staphylococcus bacteria. It also appears to play a role in resistance to the antibiotic daptomycin, which targets the bacterial cell membrane. The research results suggest novel strategies for preventing staphylococcal infection by interfering with bacterial nitric oxide synthase. Seeking alternative staph-fighting approaches is important now that serious strains of the bacteria no longer respond readily to strong antibiotics. Staph aureus colonizes an estimated 2 billion persons worldwide and has become a leading cause of skin, respiratory, and bloodstream infections. Deaths from methicillin-resistant SRS, MRSA, now exceed those caused by HIV in the United States. So breathe better. Keep it cleaner.
According to the Durango Herald, coal extracted from a mine in La Plata County could very well help President-elect Donald Trump build his wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. In a November 23rd article, Enrique Escalante, Chief Executive Officer of Grupo Cementos de Chihuahua, or GCC, told Reuters that the Mexican cement company would lend its services to build the 2,000-mile wall on the U.S. southern border. "We can't be too choosy," Escalante said. "We're an important producer in that area, and we have to respect our clients on both sides of the border. For the business we're in, Trump is a candidate that does favor the industry quite a bit." GCC, a multi-million-dollar international cement manufacturer based in Chihuahua, Mexico, is the parent company of GCC Energy, which owns and operates the King 2 coal mine in Hesperus. GCC Energy's Vice President Trent Peterson did not respond to requests for comments on this story, and Gina Nance, the company's Vice President of Environment and Energy, declined to comment. However, the company has made it known that the nearly 1 million tons of coal extracted annually from King 2, the only operating mine in La Plata County, largely feeds into the cement plants of GCC. Peterson's has said King 2 also supplies other cement manufacturers. The U.S. Energy Information Administration does not keep tabs on where coal mines send what they produce, said agency spokesman Jonathan Kogan.
What do you think about what age is appropriate to legally have a drink of alcohol? According to the Wikipedia entry, there is something called the Amethyst Initiative, an organization made up of U.S. college presidents and chancellors that in July 2008 launched a movement calling for the reconsideration of U.S. legal drinking age, particularly the minimum age of 21. The National Minimum Drinking Age Act of 1984 required all U.S. states to raise their minimum age for purchase and public possession of alcohol to 21 or face a reduction in highway funds under the Federal Aid Highway Act. The Amethyst Initiative was initiated by John McCardle, founder of Choose Responsibility, a former professor of history at Middlebury College in Middlebury, Vermont, and current vice chancellor of Sewanee, the University of the South, and is currently supported by 136 college presidents who signed a statement proclaiming it's time to rethink the drinking age. By the way, according to Greek and Roman legend, amethysts protected their owners from drunkenness, thus the name. Back to Colorado. As you can imagine, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, are indeed mad about this potential turn of events. However, Choose Responsibility, which is the parent organization to Amethyst Initiative, proposes that only high school graduates should be eligible for drinking at age 18 when one is able to fight and die for our country. In fact, data from WHO, the World Health Organization, states that foreign countries with lesser drinking ages often have fewer alcohol-related deaths per capita annually than the USA. So perhaps there are other elements involved in drinking responsibly that aren't being addressed in the federally strong-armed law of 1984 linking highway funding to raising the age nationally to 21. In any case, there is now a new initiative proposal to lower the drinking age in Colorado as a state's right. You can look it up. It is revision of statutes section 1247 and 1813-122. This is a proposal to get on the 2018 ballot, according to Cody Tamez and James Lehman, who are spearheading this initiative out of Denver. With greater hurdles to leap through to amend the state constitution, this initiative may fall flat, though they may have high hopes of reducing the age restrictions. Without deep pockets and high-octane backers, this concept might just end up being a buzzkill.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of November 21st through the 27th. A vehicle was reported to have slid off Highway 145 and in the river. Rico Rescue responded. A resident motorist reported a deer carcass on Highway 491. CDOT was notified. A deputy responded to a report of a car versus deer accident south of town. Telephone scams are circulating through our town. In one scam, the caller states they are from Windows and requests the resident to follow their instructions to avoid their computer shutting down from a virus. This is a scam. If you follow the caller's instructions, you would allow them access to your computer where your personal information is at risk. A deputy responded to a family dispute in Cajon. That's it for today's Roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
For today's High Country happenings, Christmas tree permits, which allow you to cut one tree up to 20 feet tall for personal use until December 31st, are on sale for $8 at San Juan National Forest offices and selected retail outlets in southwestern Colorado. Permits come with a brochure with safety tips, information on which species of tree to harvest, and the best places to find trees. The Forest Service offers one free permit to 4th grade students who hold a valid Every Kid in a Park pass or paper voucher downloaded from everykidinapark.gov. The free permit is good only at agency offices, and the participating 4th grader must be present. National Forest permits are on sale at the following sites: Dolores Ranger District at 29211 Colorado Highway 184 from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, at the Dolores Food Market at 400 Railroad Avenue, and Mancus at the Cox Conoco at 201 East Railroad Avenue, in Lewis at the Cox Corner Store at 18794 U.S. Highway 491. And Saturday, December 3rd, all are invited to attend the Festival on the Plaza at the Cortez Cultural Center from 5 to 6 p.m. before the Parade of Lights. Enjoy music, munchies, and holiday spirits. 5 o'clock is when holiday music with the MCHS Chamber Choir will happen, and 5:30 the tree lighting with Mayor Karen Sheik. And then, of course, there is the 27th Annual Four Corners Realtors Parade of Lights, coordinated as a thank you by the Board of Realtors. It starts at 6 p.m. on Main Street in Cortez. For more information, call 565-8988. There are awards given out for the best entries in commercial, nonprofit, and other categories. And all of the happenings are posted up on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the embedded YouTube replays of the live show and the DCTV 5-day forecast. Email us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. A reminder that this program is aired live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m., and again aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 2:30, and 8 p.m. each day respectively.
And again, be sure to check out our Facebook page. With original stories and all the event details, please like us there and share the link.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.